Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com, remember carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
I don't want to grow up. Do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing the PS7.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Popper, Neutrona Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 133 of Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg, and I am here, as always, in Atlanta, Georgia, with Abigail Gardner.
Present.
You should have said president.
President.
That's what they did in
Abigail
school.
Gardner for president.
And Jacob Walsh.
I've been telling you for like over 100 episodes that I'm not in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh.
You're breaking the fourth wall right now. But that's okay.
We talk about Valdosta all the time.
Yeah, we love Valdosta.
Yeah,
Valdosta's become
just, just be respectful.
Yeah, just be real.
You know how Gotham...
Will you?
You know how Gotham City is like a character itself in Batman? Like,
Yeah.
That's how Valdosta is. Like,
Valdosta is the unofficial fourth member of Yes Have Some.
yeah,
That
there's
is
sirens.
so for sure.
There's
Next T-shirt is just like Valdosta City on a
Yep.
map.
yes.
Got
Oh,
like Spanish moss and a Denny's.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Hey, I don't want to alarm you guys. That Denny's has been closed for like 2 months.
Oh my God. Well, you are alarming us because I don't know what we're going to do next time we visit.
I think they're just remodeling.
I guess
Okay.
we're going to have to go to that other Denny's.
We were talking about it. Can we say what we call it?
Yeah.
Phlegm Denny's.
Flimed it. But where was that? That was in...
Florida somewhere.
Was that in Florida?
You guys lied to me about.
We went there a second time, and immediately Abby was like,
I was like, wait.
is this the same day? And Craig's like, no, different Denny's. And I'm like trying not to be like, this is obvious. We're sitting in the same spot.
Yeah.
Jake is very factual.
Jake.
Slim Denny's was
Jake's
gross.
like Jim Carrey in Liar Liar. He's like, I can't do it. I can't keep up the lie.
It's
it was
Phlegm
like
Denny's,
that-
Abby.
It was like that thing where I didn't realize you were lying to Abby to save her life, basically, and I
To
was just
spare
like,
my
no, Craig, I
OCD.
think you're wrong.
I'm like, Jake, don't do it. Anyways, so that was fun. Well, we'll have to get back down to Danny's and see Mama soon enough. But guys, we got some stuff going on before that. How is everybody? How's everybody doing as far as like last week was one of the most insane weeks of Yes Have Some's young life.
Yeah.
Right? That's like when like you're 4 years old and you've never really experienced anything, and then like your parents get divorced and like one of your cousins dies, and just a lot going on in 1 week.
I remember I had one of those. It was the 1996 Olympics. We had to do like an emergency trip to Chicago. There was like a family thing going on. So
Okay.
it was just a big deal because
So
like
that-
we had people at our house. We had like these missionaries. It was a big deal.
Wait,
it's a lot going on.
Tell me about these missionaries.
Explain.
I always thought it was weird because like we had missionaries from other countries, like Korean and Swedish missionaries stayed at our house. They came to Atlanta to spread the gospel to other international people who had come to Atlanta for the Olympics. So, you know, I guess that was the whole plan. Either way, I was having fun. We were making pancakes for these people. I had a really good time. I have a lot going on this week, and last week was probably the busiest, craziest week of my life. I've mentioned we had a big office function for Craig to go to. It was a prom, had a gender reveal party, had a lot going on. And then it was just like Ghostbusters, a brand new one coming out, like right in the middle of all that. Like I feel like I didn't sleep and just was like on fumes for like almost the entire week.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
I guess it's been a little bit over a week since it still feels weird to say, but remember that one time that they just announced there's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out? Like the one we've been waiting for 30 years?
Yeah.
Jake, how were you feeling coming out of last week?
It's still all kind of weird. It almost, it's one of those things that's like you never think is going to happen. Like when it's you kind of see this stuff happen with other movies or franchises. We were sitting around watching the fucking Super Bowl, and all of a sudden there was a new Cloverfield movie, which we loved Cloverfield, but Ghostbusters is on a completely different level. And it's not, especially the way it's gone for the last couple of years. You never think that just all of a sudden you're going to get hit with a trailer. So it's weird. Like, I've definitely watched it a few times.
I tried to kind of
it's kind of like, it's sinking in.
Yeah.
I tried to make that point last week. So last week we kind of did an emergency trailer review. We had our good friend John Yerkeba, Part 4. That's what I call him. I've never referred to him as John Yerkeba the Fourth, but I do notice he has the Roman numeral 4 at the end of his name always. So I'm just going to call him John Yerkeba Part 4. I try to make this point that we had talked for years as a movie fan, as a fan of these franchises. You kind of fantasize about these scenarios that never actually happen. Like, you never actually just get a surprise trailer for a movie that's coming out next summer that's never been announced. Like, it's literally never happened before. So it's very cool that it happened to Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was literally something that we were talking about on the show, anticipating Ghostbusters Fan Fest in like this is totally impossible way. Because we had that bonus episode where we were projecting Fan Fest and we were talking about wanting to see a trailer. And it's like, at the time when we were saying that, I felt like there's just no way. Like, this is asking way too much. But to have it come and be real and already be made it's just... I'm excited. Like, I've heard a lot in the community, like some griping, some people who are, I know we're going to get into it, but they answer the call backlash like in different ways. So yeah.
In retrospect, there's that part of me that it's so painfully obvious why they did it this way, especially like so we know Ghostbusters Fan Fest is coming up in June. Nothing has been announced yet. Like, of course, announcing a new movie is the best way to sell a shit ton of tickets to your fan fest and like kind of instill a lot of positive vibes into the fan community. Because let's face it, like, these are going to be the hardcore Ghostbuster fans coming to the fan fest. Like, it's not going to be a lot of casual con-goers. Like, this is a Ghostbusters exclusive event on the Sony lot. Like, it's going to be expensive. It's going to involve travel for the majority of the people. So
planning, preparation, all that stuff. Yeah.
All the weirdos are coming out.
Hey, we're the weirdest of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, the three of us, we are very strange individuals. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild time. I'm very excited about it. But I guess what I'm saying is it makes sense that they would, it doesn't necessarily make sense like, oh, I knew they were going to have a live action movie. But now knowing that they've been developing it, it makes sense that they announced it.
Better have everyone there and then to like wait to announce this and show the trailer at FanFest when there's not as many people that even went. Like, better to build the momentum beforehand so that more people show up.
Well,
I don't think that that's even the main reason they did it. Like, that's a completely like viable reason. But I also think like they also don't want anything. There was a lot of bad press around the last Ghostbusters movie from day one. Well, but I mean, like, as soon as it was announced, it became like, it became the biggest, like, fucking weirdest issue out of any movie ever. And they don't want any negative, like, they don't want, and not even just for that, just in general, like, they don't want any negative anything coming out. So if they were to just say like, all right, new Ghostbusters is happening, you get people immediately who are just like, they're going to start talking shit. But if the first thing they put out is a trailer to show people, hey, this is what we're doing, people immediately see that trailer and they're like, oh no, this looks good. Right. So it immediately gets rid of all that fucking negativity. And all of that like naysaying and I'll believe it when I see it just shuts everybody up.
It's a power move,
bypasses it.
Yeah,
to show instead of tell, instead of being like, we got the 4 funniest ladies put together for this movie, to actually show like what this is going to feel like. I think it makes sense.
It was very calculated too, the way that like they did the announcement on Tuesday night, and it basically was like, there's a new Ghostbusters movie. Jason Reitman is directing it. It is a sequel to the original 2. It does not take place in the Answer the Call universe. It goes back to, like, it answered those, like, if they would have just put out the trailer, the first question everybody would ask, even though the trailer makes it pretty obvious what's going on, the first question everybody would ask is, what is this? Is this a sequel to the reboot? Is this, what is it, you know? So they answered all those questions beforehand, and that way when the trailer dropped, you could just enjoy it for what it was. So mega props to Ghost Corps, Sony, Jason Reitman, everybody involved for... I like to think we're pretty in tune with Ghostbusters, with the Ghostbusters community. And sometimes we hear stuff in advance, sometimes we don't. I had about a 9-second heads up on this one. I was like, oh, a little bit of inside info. Oh, everybody knows.
Yeah.
Damn it. So anyways... It was wild. I'm excited. We got a lot more Ghostbusters to talk here later in the episode, but we got some other stuff to get to. We've been doing it every week. We've been talking about it. Jake, I always start with you because I feel like, I don't know, you bring a certain level of stress to these conversations that I think our audience enjoys. So we're going to have to make some music for this segment. But, Jake, what'd you buy?
Well, you might be a little disappointed because I haven't bought anything this week.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
We have a convention coming up. I'm not 100% sure. You know, last week I talked about that alligator thing. I did pay for that, so like that is happening.
Oh, cool.
But because of that, and because we have a convention this weekend, I haven't bought anything else this week. It's been a pretty tight week. I've been working a lot in my my toy room, getting it all set. I have done a little bit of that eBaying. I'm still trying to find like good versions of the last 2 things that I need for the Jurassic Park Series 1 Kenner line. I still haven't picked them up because it's kind of hard to find.
What are those things?
There's one dinosaur that I need, and it came in a package of 2. So I have found, but I have one of them. So I've found a few where you can get them both, but it's a higher price. I don't need both. So I'm kind of like waiting until I can find just the one I need. And then also the helicopter it's pretty hard to find in really good condition. The blades are always like screwed up. So I've been kind of just holding off until I can find a good deal on a good one.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry. I'm a little technical. I have a new microphone, everybody, so get used to that. Get used to me futzing around. Yeah, Jake, I understand that. I've kind of had to slow down on the real Ghostbusters stuff a little bit just because we do have this convention coming up, and we do have. Also, I've bought so much that I've got 80% of the line locked down. But
yeah, you're looking good.
Now I want to ask everybody a question. I posted a little video on Yes Have Some social media the other day, and it was me spilling ectoplasm. Vintage ectoplasm. This wasn't homemade. This wasn't Jell-O. This was the real deal out of one of the miniature cans of Kenner ectoplasm that came with the mini Gooper figures. I was going to do a quick little, I don't know. I wanted to open it, smell it, put it on video, touch it, do a little thing.
Yeah, like a show and tell.
Like a little show and tell.
Yeah.
And I ended up spilling it.
But and you filmed it, and I was like, you need to post that right now.
Hey, it's content. It's some content. So post that up on our Facebook and Instagram. And my favorite comment, someone was like, you just spilled $20. I'm like, God. I really did.
That's great.
But I haven't had a whole lot of shopping either. The only thing I did get the Kenner Ecto Bomber, which is something I've been looking for a while. Got that from our good old buddy at Teenage Mutant Ninja Ghostbuster. He's an awesome collector, awesome dude. Follow him on Instagram. Got a really good deal on this Ecto Bomber with original box. It's in very good condition. This thing is hard to find in any kind of decent condition complete. This is one of the ones that yellows really badly.
Yeah, you showed me a photo.
Yeah, the body of it, like half the time is just yellow compared to the white wings, which we can't have any of that. We're trying to have I can't have any of my toy collecting friends coming over and looking at a yellow Ecto Bomber.
I'm going to examine it this weekend.
Jake, put on the white gloves. Good. Jake's going to be doing a little DNA test. Wearing a lab coat. No, it's all good. But yeah, we've got this convention coming up, and we always, what? Abby.
Yeah.
People might be surprised to hear this. We spend some money at these conventions.
Oh, we sure do. I'm planning to.
Are you scoping anything out? Is there anything you're trying to pick up?
I mean, I want to get an Edward Furlong interaction autograph, something apology for not going to Dragon Con that one year.
I would like to apologize. No, you go to I would like to purchase one interaction, please.
Jake, I told Craig that I wanted to have Edward Furlong sign the 8x10 Sorry About Dragon Con Edward Furlong, but Craig was like, he's had so much legal trouble. I don't know if you want to do that too.
Oh yeah,
he probably missed Dragon Con because he was legit in jail.
So yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Since we didn't buy this that much this week, we could just go ahead and get into it. So this weekend we've got Days of the Dead coming up in Atlanta, which is one of our annual conventions that we go to. I always look forward to it. It's not the biggest convention in the world. It's kind of in a tight space at the Sheraton downtown. I think it's the Sheraton. But they always have really good guests, and we always have a lot of fun. We've been looking forward to it for the last couple months. So, Jake, what are your feelings about Days of the Dead this weekend?
Well, first of all, Clive Barker's going to be there, which I feel like that's a pretty big deal. I really love Hellraiser, the book and the movie, and I've never seen him. He's never been at any convention that I've been to. I know he's been to a few, but he's going to be there along with a good bit of the cast of Hellraiser 1 and 2, and I'm kind of excited about that because I have that puzzle box that I had Doug Bradley sign a couple years ago, and I think I'm going to bring that. There's a few, there's one of the guys who played Godzilla a few times is going to be there.
Real quick, Jake, before you go any further, let's hold off on the thing we really want to talk about till we get all of our thoughts and feelings out.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
A little teaser.
Hey, well, you know what I was going to see if you guys wanted to do maybe, though? Do you think we could get Scott Hall? Do you think we can film a video of us singing Only God Knows Why with Scott Hall?
Oh,
Stop
my God.
I thought you were going to say a little bumper hey, yo.
Yeah, I was like, cool, that's fine.
I mean, that's cool, too. But don't you want to sing that song with him after that fucking sad video that exists?
I feel like this con is all about redemption. Edward Furlong's back on the horse.
Back on top, yeah.
Scott Hall's doing better. Jake, I'll ask him.
We'll see.
This convention, it ends with
him and Kevin Nash. We're just
you guys do the podcast next week. Craig's not here. He got a razor's edge from Scott Hall through the vendor table.
There's a lot of good guests at this convention. There really are. Usually there's one or two that I'm really excited about, but this time I may not get autographs from all these people, but it's exciting that they're going to be there. It's a lot of new people that I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jake, you got a little stressed when I told you that they announced Clive Barker was going to be selling some original art. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm sure I got stressed because it is cool, and I feel like Clive Barker is one of those. He's right up there with Wes Craven and all the greats, and I think it's always cool to own an original piece of art, but also it's one of those things where it's going to be so expensive that it's not even going to be a question of whether or not you can buy it or not. So I'm not worried about it. I would be happy just to get his autograph.
Yeah, dude.
Very cool.
But I'm also going to probably I'll also probably drop a couple of grand on some art, right?
Yeah. Well, that always happens with what's the guy we like? The the artist who does the dinosaurs, who's at Dragon Con every year?
William Stout.
And you were looking at, you're like, oh, I'm going to buy these prints. I was like, Jake, I think those are originals. You're like, nah.
They were like,
there's like a number in pencil. 700. It's like 4172. And I'm like,
it's such a weird number. I was like, that's such a weird number. It can't be a price. That's the print run.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the price. I'm like, take this away from me.
I'm like, why am I holding this? Jake's holding $8,000 worth of art.
I do have some original art from him. I do have some original art from him, but it was nowhere near like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like small, pen and ink sketches.
I love that moment where you're holding something and you don't know it's super expensive, and then you realize it.
Yeah. Then you realize it and you're like, oh, I'm probably ruining this, right?
Exactly.
It's like, oh, this is a Fabergé egg. I thought it was Cadbury. Mm. I'm not gonna lie. I think what I just said was pretty awesome. Even though I got no reaction from the crowd. Sorry, I'm pretty high class now. So yeah, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. I was thinking we should get our picture with them, but we've literally already done that.
Yeah, we already did that. Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho's going to be there.
Remember we talked about like one of the things. So when we met them, we were all wearing Ghostbuster shirts. It was before Answer the Call came out. And I remember we walked up to get our picture and immediately Scott Hall just like jumps into talking about Ghostbusters. And like we stood there for a few minutes and just had like a legitimate conversation as like fans with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash just about Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
which I remember thinking was so cool.
We were really he was really impressed with like the marketing push, because it was like a month before the movie was going to come out, and he's like, yo, I'm seeing it everywhere, bro. I'm like, yeah, cool. Chris Jericho, I've never met him. He's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, and he's a big name. Like he's people forget like Chris Jericho kind of was like a mid-carder in WCW in the mid-90s, and once he hit WWE, like over time, he's become one of the all-time greats. He might be like a top 5, top 10 of all time. I'd like to meet him. I don't know what I would get signed, though. I don't have a belt, as usual.
Get your Fozzy album signed.
I'm not getting my Fozzy album signed. I like how you're just laughing. Like, yeah, get his band's CD signed. That would be neat. Tony Todd.
I'm sure someone legitimately is doing that, and more power to them. I'm excited about this Halloween. Like the 3 ladies, obviously PJ Souls was there and has been there in the past. I'm looking forward to seeing her. But Nancy Loomis, I haven't seen her. Want to get a picture? That might be neat.
Yeah, some of the original Halloween cast. And then let's talk about Ed Furlong before we get to the main event. Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it was that thing when I saw it when I was a kid, like I was probably 7 or 8. He was probably 11 or 12 when he filmed that. And like, you can't even fathom. Like you want to talk about jealous of another human being. I'm like watching Terminator 2 and this kid's on a fucking dirt bike, like running away. Like, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger, like when they're in the, in like the, whatever, like the LA, God, I don't know what that is, but it's in a bunch of movies. Anybody in California is going to yell at me, but it's like where they bust through with the bikes and they're in that whatever that thing is, where all the drainage is.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And then like Arnold like comes by and like picks him up by the back of his jacket and puts him on his motorcycle while the dirt, like it's fucking awesome. I love Terminator 2. So I want to meet Ed Furlong. I want to get something signed. And Abby, you've got a long history with him.
Yeah, and I've got I was actually trying to pick out my outfit for Saturday before we started recording, and I think I'm going to go with my Public Enemy tee and do like a Loki John Connor, although I do have the entire...
Loki John Connor?
Yeah, I'm going to do it's like Loki from Thor and John Connor. It's very cute. No.
Mashups are great.
I think I'm not going to do the entire, because I do have the whole costume. I'm not going to do the entire thing, but I am going to wear the Public Enemy t-shirt, and I think my Alien Stompers, because I tried them on. They looked good, so.
Now, I asked you this recently. Did you see T2 when you were a kid?
No, I didn't. But
were you familiar with it?
Yeah, I had cousins who were allowed to see it that I was extremely jealous of. I think I may have seen some commercials. I knew that I wanted to see it. And then when I saw it for the first time, I was probably like 23 or 24 when I saw it for the first time. Okay. And I was like moved, literally, because between John Connor and Sarah Connor, like I identified with both of them strongly. I loved Sarah Connor, super strong and tough. But then John Connor was like living his best life and like very cool and like everything that I wanted to be and like a total badass. So
just stealing money from ATMs,
yeah, dude,
and like flipping people off.
I still look up to him. I'm going to see if we can make him a friend of the podcast. I have it in my head. I'm like, we are going to hang out. It's going to be good.
Yeah, if we just bring him some cocaine or something. Anyways, all right. So,
I think I get my hopes up way too high for these interactions.
Let's talk about the main event.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't.
Anybody who is a fan or a listener or a connoisseur of Yes Have Some podcast knows that one of our most famous moments ever happened at Days of the Dead. And if that was part 1 of a trilogy, part 2's coming up this weekend. Jake, who's going to be there?
Well, before we say this, though, I'm a little nervous that maybe she's not, because I pulled up, before we recorded this episode, I pulled up the website, and she's not on the list.
She's not in the photo section. I'm looking at it right now.
She's not in any of the photos. So I was like, but they did announce Linda Blair.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
They did announce Linda Blair. She's not in the lineup here, so I'm confused if she's actually going to be there or not.
A lot of times,
is that a Facebook announcement?
It was a Facebook announcement, and sometimes, like as the con gets closer, a lot of conventions, for whatever reason, just kind of stop updating the website.
But here's the thing, though: she is going to be at they have her down for the like the LA Days of the Dead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So like, I'm wondering if like. Did we just look at the wrong thing?
Well, I'm trying to find it now, because if she, okay, here we go. We would like, this was posted January 15th. We would like to welcome Linda Blair to the guest roster for Days of the Dead Atlanta, happening January 25th through 27th. Let me scope out these comments. There's no other details, but according to Facebook, she's going to be there.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So,
first of all, how does Jake feel about all this? And
yeah, I mean, do you want her to be there?
I'm a little scared.
Maybe we should give a little bit of a background, because this was like 2 years ago. We've got a lot of new listeners. If anybody, we won't tell the whole story here, but essentially, Jake and Linda Blair had a little bit of an altercation at Days of the Dead Atlanta. You can find it in episode 45 of Yes Have Some podcast, where we give full details on what went down. But the long story short TLDR is that Jake has a specific item from Exorcist that he's probably going to talk about right now that he wanted to get signed, and she refused to sign it. She
also might have fired her assistant.
She was a no sign.
Yeah.
She said, "This is a no sign." So Jake, go from here, man, because I can tell the story, but you've lived it.
I think it went beyond. I told somebody this story. There was somebody in the shop today who actually is going to be at the convention, and I was retelling the story to them. So it wasn't just a refuse. It's like we went into this knowing that Linda Blair is a little weird, which whatever, everybody's a little weird. But I get a pretty big impression that she hates The Exorcist, hates anything to really do with it, and is maybe just doing convention appearances to kind of push her own. She gives you all these papers that tell you her, she has these like nonprofit things or animal shelters or whatever, which are all great, but it seems like that's the only reason she's doing this kind of stuff. I want to
ask her about her mom's mouth shelter for those cocks she sucks in hell.
Jesus Christ! Sorry,
I was like, should I say it? I'm just gonna
go. Mouth Shelter is a great band name.
Mouth Shelter. All right, keep going.
Continue.
I think it's always been a little well known that she might have like looked back on The Exorcist not so fondly.
Yeah.
It's very apparent if you see her at a convention. She had two handlers that both I passed two people with this item. And they were like, okay, she only signs Sweet Dreams, which by the way that's Freddy Krueger's line. That's not anything to do with The Exorcist. She won't sign certain things. They asked what I had. I was like, this is the statue from the movie. They okayed it. Two people okayed this statue. I moved forward. Linda Blair saw it and immediately, like almost turned into like a wrestling promo. She was like, she like started off kind of whispering. She seemed like shocked that I had it. She was like, who did this?
Offended,
Who let you through with this? What is this? Why do you have this? I will not sign it. Where did this come from? Like all kinds of weird questions. She was like, she started like yelling at me. I looked over at Craig. Craig was standing there like wide-eyed, like what the fuck is happening? It was super weird. She refused to sign it. She threw a fit over it. That was it. And now she's going to be back, and I'm bringing the statue back.
Yeah, I was about to say, fuck it. I know what you're going to do. You're going to get it signed, because last time when this happened, I was posting photos on Instagram, and I missed the entire thing. So this time, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at your side as a wingman, and let's cut a promo, because I think you should try again.
We're going to get Scott Hall to cut a promo.
Like, I have another item that I'm thinking about getting signed by her. Or I'm also thinking about possibly just doing a picture with her. But if I do a picture, I'm gonna sneak that fucking thing into the picture.
Yes.
I haven't decided if I want to try to get her to sign it again, because she's gonna yell at me again.
The photo,
and I don't want to be yelled at.
The picture's gonna come out, and it's just her like grabbing it away from you, attempting to destroy.
Just her punching Jake in the face.
I'll like wear a jacket and like hide it in the jacket, and then just kind of pull it out when you go to take the picture.
Yes.
And since then, and if everybody wants to listen to this, the full story, because we go into in-depth details on it, it's in episode 45. You can find it on iTunes and YouTube and other places. You'll find it. But since then, you've had it signed by the director of Exorcist, William Friedkin. That's his name?
Yeah. William Friedkin, he has signed it, and our good friend John Yerkeba had it signed for me, and he like relayed that story to him, to which he said he kind of chuckled at it, so he signed it, so it is signed by him.
Yeah, well, I will be very disappointed if she's not there, because I've been looking forward to this.
It's the rematch.
It's the rematch.
Dude. Hell in a Cell.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get Chris Jericho or Scott Hall or somebody in on this.
Yeah.
Like, we need a guest referee.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess we need someone who's going to run interference. Like, who's going to disqualification?
Bad blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WCW Monday Nitro. Tonight's main event is in this corner. All the way from Valdosta, Georgia, carrying a Pazuzu statue and a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, Jacob Walsh. And in this corner, she's 5 feet tall, did a lot of nude scenes in the 80s.
Doesn't want to talk about it.
Basically hates everything. She's perky. She's, well, I don't know. What's another P word?
Pretty.
She's pretty? Is she? All I know,
probably a perfectionist.
She's a pretty, perky perfectionist. And she's got a Sharpie, but she ain't signing that statue. God damn it. I don't know, man. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the whole shebang.
I just like the idea of Jake getting her to submit by grabbing her hand and having her sign the Pazuzu statue.
Oh, yeah. Jim Ross is there for something. By God, she's signing it.
Oh, she's signing it.
It's like a tap-out match.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He's got the Sharpie in her hand. She's signing it. Jesus Christ. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash come in with NWO shirts that just start wailing on Jake with chairs.
Yes.
God, this is going to not be as good as I want it to be.
All has to happen.
Oh man.
And then Chris Jericho shows up with his like sparkly jacket.
God, am I getting Kevin Nash to sign my Ninja Turtles 2 poster?
Oh, yeah. He's also in John Wick for literally 4 seconds.
Is he?
Yeah.
You've got the Blu-ray combo pack. Let's get it signed.
He's in the first one?
He's like a bodyguard or like one of the guards. But
Isn't he in Magic Mike?
Okay. He's also in Magic Mike. But now I'm like,
am I about to get some DVD signed?
Do I have a Super Shredder anything I could get signed? If Kevin Nash has a Super Shredder 8x10, I'm getting one. Putting that out there right now.
That's a good idea.
Oh wait, we've got that. Ooh, we've got that TGRI canister.
Yeah, but
oh wait, that's a good idea.
You think? What do you think, at the base, or do you want to do it at the top part?
On it.
Dude, always go for the base.
Always start at the base.
We are in a weird place.
Start at the base.
Dude, what if I'm like, no, dude, don't sign it. Drink that shit. Let's just see what happens. He's going to be like, babies! Oh, wait. That's not him. That's somebody else. I'm going to be in the corner like, mama. Mama. All right. Cool. All right. Well, we're excited about Days of the Dead. We will, next week, I guess we'll update everybody. It's a little bit of a cliffhanger. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll do some filming.
We're going to do some filming.
Yeah.
Let's get official YHS predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Abby, will she sign the statue?
No, absolutely not. I think Jake will get yelled at again. And I can't wait.
But this time we'll be ready.
We'll be ready for it. I want to see it. This time I will be present for it because I'm still mad that I was not.
Abby is somehow going to miss it again. I don't know how, but something is going to happen and you're still going to end up missing it.
Dude, I'm going to look. If she starts yelling at me, I'm going to look at her and be like, Linda, why are you like this? Jake, prediction. Will Linda Blair sign the statue?
No,
I
don't think so. Hey, what if I cover up the snake, penis part of it? There was a little bit of a question even though if that was what bothered her about it, is that it's pretty suggestive, even though it's a snake. What if I censored it? Bought it a pair of shorts or something.
Yes, either that or build a decoy something box around it. You know what I mean? So it looks like something else, and she signs it.
Something completely different.
Yes. Such a good idea.
We're gonna tricking Linda Blair.
Or
yeah,
I could just get really close to her face and go, "Why won't you sign the penis?" We could do that. Hey, either way, it's gonna be fun. I kind of like the idea of buying the little shorts, but then the decoy box might be cool too. She's like, "What am I signing?" You're just like, just a wooden box that has a weird piece of stone
structure in the middle of it.
It's kind of my own thing. It's for dogs. It's for
Don't worry
dogs.
about it. Just
for the shelter.
I'm paying you. Fucking write your name on it.
Well, we didn't even talk about that. Was the best part last time where Jake had to get his money back. She's like, "I'll sign it 8x10, or you can have your $50 back," and you were just like, "I'll take my money back." All right, cool.
Jesus Christ.
Well, listen, we'll have fun. We'll have a lot to talk about next week, but that's next week or a couple days from now. Right now, we got to get into some other stuff. Before we move forward, I did want to let everybody know that if you are into Yes Have Some Podcast, if you've been listening to the podcast, make sure you are subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, because we want you to get those episodes automatically. So if you love what you hear, please head to iTunes, leave one of those 5-star reviews. Let us know what you love about the show. And in the meantime, after you get done with all of that, after you leave that 5-star review, after you've downloaded and listened to all of the episodes, this is episode 133. So if you're just getting into us, you got a lot to catch up. The inside jokes fly furiously around here, and we want you to be up to speed. So listen to the episodes. Let us know what you think on the 5-star review, and please interact with Yes Have Some Podcast on social media. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast, and of course Twitter and Instagram, where we've been posting tons of vintage toys, all of our cool finds with detailed pictures of the boxes. It's the YHS Vintage Collection on Instagram. At YHS Podcast is where you can find us, and that's where we're posting all of our cool collections and news about Ghostbusters and all sorts of stuff. I think Instagram is one of our more active social media presences. But of course, our episode discussion group, YHS Group Therapy, it's on Facebook. It's where everybody can let the stress out. There was a lot of stress this week with Ghostbusters. It's a fun and safe environment. There's not a whole lot of shit posting. It's people giving honest opinions about movies, TVs, Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, whatever we're talking about. And Abby, let everybody know how they can get to Facebook Group Therapy.
Facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast. Scroll on down. You'll see Group Therapy pop up. There are almost 400 and growing members. Give that a click and request to join. Once you get to the page, I will approve you first, and you'll be part of the fun. It's like Craig said, a very safe place to talk about this stuff. It's one of the only places I like to hang out to hear Ghostbusters news, honestly, because it's not annoying. It's very cool. I like everybody there, so you should join.
Yeah, and all the Facebook groups have been a little weird and wild this week. Yeah. So people were kind of talking about how Yes Have Some Group Therapy was kind of a place of solace, because all the other Facebook groups, all the other Ghostbusters groups, at the end of this week kind of turned into a little bit of a crazy, like, just people post after post. Like, it's either people sharing the exact same information that's already been shared, or people just giving their opinions on the reboot. And, like, it's just crazy. It's getting out of hand. So come to Facebook Group Therapy for Yes Have Some. It's a fun, safe, special place where you can get all your stress out, and you can see all the pictures of Jake's new statue that's still not signed by anybody. No, we're on there all the time. We interact with everybody, and it's the best way to kind of like, I don't know, get that shit off your chest, because we all got it. We all got the stress.
Yeah, it's a nice community.
Cool. You guys ready to move on here?
Yes.
It's been a while. It's been a while, but we had so much going on in the world of Ghostbusters this week that we decided that it is time for a traditional Yes Have Some fuck budget.
Fuck, motherfuck. I don't give a fuck.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Fuck, motherfuck. Music. That's how you do. That's the new intro.
Yeah, we can't use the. We got to cease and desist on the music, so that's just our new music. Music. All right, cool. So, if you're new to YHS, let's fill you in on the details on the fuck budget. The fuck budget is a fun segment where we take 5 topics in the world of movies, TV, toys. This week, specifically Ghostbusters. We break them down one topic at a time, and Abby and Jake have a total of 10 fucks to spend. They have to allocate their fucks through 5 topics. They cannot spend more than 10. And they got to spend those fucks wisely, because at the end, if you have no more fucks to spend, you're fucked.
Yeah. You don't want to be in fuck debt.
But we're going to keep it real. Like, we've had a little fun with it before, where maybe you're getting the fuck budget credit card, you're borrowing from the bank, you're just giving everything 5 fucks or everything 0 fucks. I'm going to be strict. I'm the guest referee this week. No overspending.
You can't tell me how many fucks I can give to a single thing.
I'm going to try.
Where did this rule come from?
I like it.
Yeah, I like it when we do whatever we want. Without any rules that we spend on credit.
Are you gonna be joining in on this fuck budget?
I am going to be giving opinions.
What are you, the bank? You're cracking down on us.
I'm the people. I'm the bank reports to me. Mm-hmm. I'm like the pyramid with the eye in the middle. What are those people called? The Illuminati. Yeah, that's who I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm the deep state of Ghostbusters. All right.
Cool.
I'm none of that. I'm just get real.
You're just Craig Goldberg.
I'm just a guy who likes Ghostbusters.
It's true.
Who just wants to talk about it. All right, cool. It was a big week last week. There was breaking news all throughout the week, so we decided to put it in a fuck budget. Here we go. Are we ready?
Yes.
Cool. First up, we had heard when the movie was first announced that they had been screen testing possibly teenagers for lead roles, 2 female, 2 male. The next day, we got rumor reporting of casting notices for these 2 characters, a female and a male, 12 and 13 years of age. There were specifics about the kind of archetypes of the character. I'm going to go ahead and read that real quick so everybody's up to speed, and then we can go from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, obviously, this is rumor. This is not reported as fact. This could be completely false. This could be right on the money. We don't know yet. So, 2 central characters, young boy and a young girl. The former, that would be the boy, will be 13 years of age, said to be passionate about fantasy and conspiracy theories. Sounds a little bit like Ray's stance to me.
God damn it, you're taking my notes away from me.
All right. Furthermore, he apparently approaches every situation with unbridled excitement for the unknown. I mean, am I right or am I right? Okay. Mm-hmm. What's perhaps most interesting, though, is he's quite often will narrate life in real time, adding descriptive color to the people he meets. Self-diagnosed Tourette's. Anyways, as for the girl, she crosses paths with the aforementioned boy at some point in the film, and they quickly become friends.
I like how we're already making fun of the new Ghostbusters movie. Continue.
I am not making fun of anything.
You were making fun of speculation.
Well, you know, all I'm going to say is that boy sounds like the kind of guy I'd like to hang out with in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anyways. Oh, God. Okay. Sorry to hear about your father, son. He was a good man. Okay. As for the girl, the 12-year-old, she crosses paths with the aforementioned boy at some point in the film, and they quickly become friends. 12 years of age, and from what we understand, is said to be an insanely smart kid. However, she often has a hard time with interpreting and expressing emotions and speaks with a flat delivery that makes her observations humorous. I don't know. What does that sound like? That would have definitely worked if you would have let me go through with it. That's not the quote, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Though she wants to connect with others, she struggles with interpreting how her family and friends feel and has difficulty sharing her own feelings. Her science acumen is said to prove invaluable throughout the story, though. And there's another report that, exclusive from YHS Breaking News, she collects spores, molds, and fungus. That's all I'm saying. Okay, cool. Now that we got all of that, it's pretty specific information. So if somebody's making it up, they went hard on that. Having said all of that, Abigail Gardner, how many fucks do you give about this casting rumor?
I give this casting rumor 1 fuck. Strictly, I am very excited and would probably a lot more fucks to this, but the fact that it's a trusted source and it's still a rumor and the word rumor is being used, it's not hard fact. I do, however, like the idea of these two characters. I wrote a note exactly like you said, Craig. The male character sounds like he's probably in the Ray Stantz family. I like the sound of the girl. Sounds like she's on the spectrum a little bit. I'm into that, though, honestly. I mean, it's still speculation. Like, there's no cast announced. There's no actors' names attached to these roles. So I don't know how I feel until I know that it's hard, solid fact. But everything that I'm hearing, it sounds fine with me, honestly. It aligns with the family moving to a new spot, which sounds like we're all agreeing is fact. But since we don't know, I can only give it 1 fuck. I feel like until we know for sure, I won't give this any more of my, fucks.
Cool. I want to go more depth on this, but Jake, how many fucks do you give about this one?
I gave it 2, but I completely 100% agree with Abby. But the reason I gave it, it seems so completely early to be having this kind of information about the movie. It's a little hard for me to believe that any of it could be true. But the reason I gave it 2 is because if it is true, and this is the sort of route they're going or the kind of plot they're going with, then we're going to see a completely different Ghostbusters than we've seen or thought we would ever see. I don't know if this is something we have talked about privately or if this is something we actually talked about on the show last week. But if this is the kind of thing they're doing, then it seems so different from just, here's a new team, we're handing the packs down, we're all going to get together and fight. It just seems like a completely different story that just kind of happens to be in the universe of Ghostbusters. It just seems so different if this is what it's going to be.
And the lineage possibility.
That's what's exciting. Yeah, and that's what's exciting is that maybe this is going to be so out of where our brains have been for the last 20 years. Because I think everybody has always assumed it's going to be the same kind of thing. It's 4 new Ghostbusters, taking them and it seems like it might not be that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, any of the previous scripts that they've tried for Ghostbusters have been a very, from everything we understand, well, besides Hellbent, but that's a whole different thing. Once passing the torch kind of became the phrase of the day. Yeah, it was always that. It was always, okay, it's going to be 4 new Ghostbusters. It's going to be Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, and Chris Farley. Okay, it's going to be Seth Rogen and Steve Carell.
Derivative of the original.
Yeah.
The original didn't have a 12 and 13-year-old in it.
Yeah.
So that's something fresh and new.
I completely agree that the thought of something instead, I've seen it. Okay, here comes a rant, but I just want to go here.
Do it.
I've seen some backlash to this where the automatic response is I don't want a bunch of kids wearing proton packs. It's
wait, that was Jake last week.
No, he wasn't saying that. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe it was Jake. But you get what I'm saying? Just because there's kids in this movie, it doesn't mean that there's a new team of Ghostbusters and they're all 12 years old.
Right.
I feel like we're probably in line for a more, I don't know, I feel emotional. This could be something where you see whether it's Ray and Winston and Peter and whoever, but
Stranger Things. I keep thinking of Stranger Things. Like, I just feel like we're going to get whatever the story is between these two, the 12-year-old girl and 13-year-old boy. I feel like that's going to be in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the movie with like just barely setting the stage. Whoever they're related to, whatever story unwinds from there is something we don't even know yet. Right. But I'm excited to think about it.
Imagine if it's kind of like, imagine if like it centers on, you know, these two kids, but maybe the boy is like, maybe his grandpa is Ray or something. And like, I can see like the whole movie, the kid is like, he knows that his grandpa is like up to, there's something happening. There's something weird. Grandpa spends a lot of time in the fucking barn and like, you know, ghosts or whatever the entity is in this movie is like, it's happened. You know, like you see a lot of those movies where the kids are like scared of their grandparents and they're like, they don't know why, they don't know what they're up to, but like maybe he's like throughout the course of the movie, they'll like learn about what the Ghostbusters are and be like, holy shit, like our grandparents are, you know, this is what they did and this is what they are. And they find out that the whole time, like Ray's been, you know, getting the team back together or working on equipment or, you know, something like he turns out to not be the bad guy, but like he's it's fucking Ray Stantz, you know?
Yeah, and once they get close with him, maybe he falls into peril on the other side and both of these kids have to team up and go and cross over.
Wow. I haven't even thought of that. I mean, the cross rip this week kind of threw out some theories, and it's interesting the difference between... Okay, I don't even want to go here, but there's intellectual discussion that can be had about this stuff, and that's what the cross rip was doing, and that's what we're doing, and that's what us and a lot of our friends have been doing. But if you're immediately jumping to, oh, kids, that sounds stupid, why can't it just be people busting ghosts? It's just like nobody knows anything yet. Like, we don't know anything. Like,
Craig, I'm not sure you're allowed to say ghosts anymore.
Oh yeah, we might not be able to say. Well, hey, this is interesting you brought that up. Remember that interview with Dan Aykroyd where he kept talking about we got to use a new vernacular?
Yeah.
You know, we can't be running around down. We need that China box office, so we can't be saying ghosts, you know? Yeah, welcome to Monster Busters. I don't know. I feel like we could be, like, you got to think. We haven't seen these characters in 30 years. The last time we saw them, they were in their mid-30s. Now they're in their mid-60s. Ernie Hudson's 73 years old. We're going to see them later in life. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for that. Because we could be seeing some closure. We could be seeing death. We could be seeing, you know, Egon on the other side. We could be seeing a whole lot besides Bill Murray. Like, we could see, like, there's just, and I said it, like, this is going to be, like, for better or worse, this is going to be like the Ghostbusters version of Force Awakens. It's going to be one last adventure with our guys, but there could be some serious consequences. And when Ivan Reitman says that when he read the story, and by the end, he was laughing and crying because it was so funny and so emotional, your mind immediately goes to Harold Ramis because he's not with us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not so emotional because Bill Murray had a bunch of good one-liners in the script that Jason Reitman wrote. Like, it's going to be emotional. Like, oh, it was so emotional when, you know, Bill and Dana talked again. Like, it's going to be emotional for
it could be some weird reasons. Kind of like... it could be some weird kind of like closure for the entire, you know, Ghostbusters fan base for Egon.
Yeah, dude.
And maybe not just Egon, but like maybe all of them.
Craig said 2 words to me last night that gave me like literal full body goosebumps.
Oh, Hot Pocket?
No. Widowed Janine.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's very...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that means Louis Tully's dead.
Good point.
And I feel...
like, what's Slimer and Lady Slimer's relationship going to be like?
Yeah, exactly. Lots of other... What happened to that really tall guy from Times Square?
Yeah.
What happened?
It's his story.
Now I did.
It's a prequel. It's his
somebody
story.
was like, "What if at the end a portal opens up and Abby and Aaron fall out of it?" And I was like, why would you make Why would you end your movie with the worst possible thing that could happen?
You find out where Kevin got his sandwich thrown to him from.
Yeah, we find out that Kevin's sandwich was thrown from another dimension.
The movie ends with a fucking Peter Venkman throwing a sandwich over his shoulder like he doesn't want it anymore, and it falls into a portal.
Wait, I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was some deep discussion. We're only on part 1 of the fuck budget. Are you guys ready to move on to number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Jason Reitman this week on his Instagram, because I follow him now. I've always followed him. I haven't, but now I do. He posted some information about the teaser that they posted. The end of the teaser trailer was his Ghostbusters Summer 2020. Apparently, that was done practically, and they worked with this graphic designer, who I'm going to get his name. I should have had it in front of me. I'm a bad host.
At My Broken Glasses.
Yes. That's his birth name, At My Broken Glasses.
That's his Instagram name.
His name is Gareth Smith. They went back into the Ghostbusters archives, the Sony archives, and got the original lettering in the font used for the original movie, and they made this Summer 2020, and they shot it practically. I'm sure some of the stuff, whether it was the smoke or the light or whatever, something was done and added digitally. But my question is, how many fucks do you give about that level of detail being put into a teaser trailer? Jake?
I gave it 3, man. I thought that was such a cool, it's a small touch, and it's not something anybody would have thought twice about, but to show that that's what they did, they took the time. And I do think it said the smoke was all practical too, didn't it?
I'll have to read it again.
Yeah, it says then shot it practically with smoke and light.
There you go.
Yeah, so just the fact that they took time, they could have done that. They could have done that in, half an hour or something digitally. I don't know, but they took the time to do that, and that shows it just shows a level of
budgetary restriction.
What?
It shows a level of a smaller budget.
Maybe
dude, Jason Reitman's he's gonna be out there with an old timey camera.
He's gonna be in the Stay Puft suit.
What if instead of filming at the firehouse, they just film at Ghost Corps, because it kind of looks like the firehouse.
Oh my god!
It cuts to it, it shows
you can see the Breaking Bad RV in the background.
It's like an office comedy.
It's the exterior of the firehouse, but it's just a Kenner firehouse.
Dude, that's some fan film stuff right there.
I mean, hey, we like it. He just costs too much. Okay. God, I love Dan Aykroyd. I love him so much. I love him.
Love him.
Abby?
Yeah.
How many
guys,
fucks?
I give this 6 fucks. It's the most fucks I'm giving to the entire budget.
Craig, is she allowed to do that?
Can I? Let me ask the bank first.
Well, I don't know. Hold on. Wells Fargo's calling.
Yeah, will you check my account?
Stole their stagecoach.
Okay.
All right, keep going.
Okay. I give this 6 fucks because I think it's finally Jason Reitman understands that Ghostbusters was great because of the visual effects, not the science or the funny whatever. I feel like the visual effects were something that came from Ghostbusters that were one of the most groundbreaking.
No, Ghostbusters is funny for one reason. No, it's just funny people with cool stuff, and they're fighting ghosts and comedy.
Science. Yeah, it's not about that. It's about things looking very cool and being iconic and memorable. And this thing right here, the teaser, the stencil, the fact that they went back and used original stuff from the archive, the fact that it was shot practically, it's a huge step in the right direction. And it makes me feel really good about the movie moving forward. And I think it sets a really strong foundation and gives a good flavor. And it was literally the one piece of news that came out about this new Ghostbusters 2020 movie in the last week. This little factoid gave me more hope and made me feel more confident and comfortable moving forward with this movie. So I
was a little bummed that there was no wonton soup involved in the trailer. Because I feel like they could get some, they wouldn't have to get digital wontons. They can get some real ones, throw them in there. God, this is going to be the next year and a half is going to be
digital wonton.
It's going to be
that's another good band name.
Wait, that's a good Instagram name. Digital wonton.
Yeah, it's just graphic design pictures of Abby Yates.
I'm gonna change my Instagram. I'm gonna change my Instagram name to just one wonton.
Oh my God! Please do. Anyways, hey, we can do whatever we want. We don't post the stuff in Facebook groups. We say it.
Yeah.
We say it on the podcast. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I thought it was very cool. I hope that throughout the pre-production, Jason Reitman takes it upon himself to post more stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I also thought, like, what if they wouldn't have announced anything or just did a teaser if Jason Reitman would have just made that post and it just said summer 2020 and it was clearly the Ghostbusters font?
We would have... Jesus Christ. We would have all needed new pants.
Yeah.
We would have somehow... Wait, are we saying that we would have somehow been more excited to see that picture of that guy doing that than just the fucking trailer they dropped?
Dude, if they would have just posted up a picture of that guy only... I'd be like, who is that?
Yeah.
He looks like somebody who might be doing something for the summer in 2020.
Is that Oscar?
Is that Oscar?
Definitely.
Is that him?
Looks like Oscar.
God, if I have to read one. Okay, I think the movie's going to be, it's like Egon's funeral, and then Oscar shows up, and shut up. Anyways, that's what we want. That's what we want to start this movie off with. Egon's funeral. 30 years later, Egon's funeral.
Oh, God.
I ordered some soup with wontons in it, but there's no freaking wontons in my soup. All right. Number 3. It was falsely reported that Ernie Hudson said that the whole new cast will be back, and it was clear to every other human being who read it that this interview was like outdated and also misquoted. So Ernie Hudson did a radio show yesterday and said he's excited about the new Ghostbusters, but he has not been offered any contract. Abigail Gardner, how many fucks do you give about this?
I give this 1 fuck. Because
he's lying.
No, I feel like nobody knows what's going on. Like in general with this, I hope that Jason Reitman knows what's going on with the movie. But I feel like
me too.
Well, I don't know. I certainly like looking at the history with Ernie Hudson and his like representation and all that with the Ghostbusters films, and I would like to see him obviously in this. Like I don't want Sony to fuck it up. It seems inevitable that he would be in it. But they do always historically, there's been some, who knows. I would like to see him in this movie. I don't like that it got very confusing and that people weren't reading information properly. I'd like to see him in it, though. That's kind of what I take from it.
Jake?
I also gave it 1 fuck for the same reason. It's just too early. Like, it's not filming yet. It's super early. This teaser was put together, just to show everybody what's happening. Like, the movie, it's not... I don't think they're far enough in yet. Like, I think it's pretty obvious that he's gonna be in it. Like, everyone knows that he's not gonna say no. Like, I think, like, him and Dan Aykroyd, I think are, anytime there's gonna be a Ghostbusters movie, I think you can pretty much count on them 100% being on board with it. Like, no matter what it is, he's gonna say yes and he's gonna do it. Right. So I don't have any doubts that Ernie Hudson's not going to be in this movie. I just think they just haven't talked to him about it yet. They haven't gotten that far. They're not trying to hunt down Bill Murray yet. They're probably going to want to try to cast, the rest of the roles for, like, I don't know, obviously, but I think if any of that was done, there would be some information out there.
Yeah.
My personal take is that he's lying and that he has been, like, because if they're filming this summer, they have to get schedules together. Lying's the wrong word. I put this on Twitter.
Ernie Hudson is a liar.
That's the takeaway. That's going to be what is that? The Daily News or whoever posted it
picks this up.
Yeah. Yes, have some podcast says Ernie Hudson is a liar.
Enemy of the podcast.
He will never be my enemy.
No.
No, I think that he understands that anything he says is, anybody involved with Ghostbusters right now, anything they say is going to be scrutinized. It's going to be analyzed. It's going to be reported probably incorrectly. If they're filming this summer and they know FanFest is coming up, I think that everybody's going to play it coy. We're not going to hear a lot about casting, who's in, who's not. And we're going to be sitting at FanFest and they're going to say, are you guys ready to meet the new cast? And it's going to be, bam, Dan Aykroyd, bam, Ernie Hudson, bam, Bill Murray, maybe. I think it's going to be like kind of that thing like Mark Hamill does it a lot. And listen, he's out there. He's a working actor. He's promoting his other stuff. He's always going to be asked about Ghostbusters. But Ernie Hudson doesn't want to be the guy who like spoils it or spills the beans.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be very shocked if he wasn't keenly aware that that teaser was about to be dropped and at least got the heads up like, hey, script's in development, you know, circle these dates for this summer because this is what we're aiming for.
Yeah. And everyone's talked about how these like teenage kids could be Ray or or Egon's kids. They could be Winston's. Like, who knows at this point?
Yeah.
I just hope he's in it. I hope that Jason makes it right.
There's no way this movie's
happening. You said Ray, and I was like, Ray and Finn? Like, are we talking about
Dude, I wish that Ray and Finn
because it's the right thing to do. Dude, maybe John Boyega will be in it.
Hey.
Probably not.
I just imagined Bill Murray coming out at FanFest in a really shitty Stay Puft costume. Like, just surprise everybody. I'd love that.
And he's like... And he's at FanFest, but
he's
like...
been there all day, and like everyone's been avoiding the shitty Stay Puft, but it's been Bill Murray the whole time.
No, he's gonna show up and be like, "Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everybody. I'm still not doing the movie.
I'm still not doing it."
I just stand up and I go, "Boo, boo, you, Bill Murray." Let me get that autograph, though. All right, cool. Ernie Hudson's gonna be in this movie. If anybody's in it,
yeah, that's why I only give this one fuck because he's definitely in it.
All right. Next up. I was back and forth on whether or not to bring this up because it's just it drudges up so much shit, but hey, we got to cover the news. Leslie Jones tweeted this the other day that she was very upset about the new Ghostbusters. I'll read her tweet and then we can react. She says, actually I should clarify this. Her tweet was a reply to somebody else. Somebody tagged her in a tweet and said, at Jason Reitman, you're going to bring back Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones, right? Because I think that would be awesome. I'm not even going to read that person's Twitter account. But anyways, she replied, so insulting, like, fuck us, we didn't count. It's like something Trump would do. Who's Trump? Then she says, Trump voice. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better. I like that she's typing out a Trump impression. It's actually kind of funny. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men. Will be huge. Now that I'm reading it, it's kind of funny. Those women ain't Ghostbusters. Oh, so annoying. Such a dick move. And I don't give a fuck. I'm saying something. Okay. I want to see Donald Trump say those things. Like, for the sake of just, we live in this weird world where everything's falling apart. I want to see Donald Trump be like, gonna be men, gonna be huge. She tweeted it out, and like every single possible publication in the world picked up on it. Well, let's talk about it. Jake, how many fucks did you give about this?
I gave it 0 fucks because like I don't want to hear anybody bitching about how the major motion picture they were in didn't do well. Like I can see your first reaction being bummed out that your movie's not getting a sequel and instead they're moving in a different direction. But I think her anger is a little misguided, and she's like going straight to they're making it all men again because they don't want the all female. And I don't think that's the case. First of all, we don't have any kind of confirmation that this is going to be all men Ghostbusters. We don't know what this movie is going to be. But the thing that she's saying they're doing is kind of exactly what their movie did with the original. Like, it kind of, it wasn't in the same universe. Therefore, it kind of ignored that stuff. And this movie has to kind of ignore the stuff in their movie because it's not in the same universe. Like, it doesn't. I don't think this movie's not being made to erase Ghostbusters 2016. It's just being made because they want to make a sequel to the originals.
Amen.
And I think her anger is a little. I think she should probably like think for 2 minutes before she fucking posts the stupidest tweet she's ever posted. I think that's what I think about it.
Got it.
There was a second tweet that she put out where she didn't really
clarify.
She offered some clarification, and it was basically like something along the lines of, Abby, I'll find the tweet and you go first. How many fucks did you give?
I gave this 2 what the fucks. Because honestly, yeah, I feel similar to Jake. like, we were heavily involved with Answer the Call. We even made like an entire video for Leslie Jones. Reading this tweet and reading her sentiment, I completely agree with Jake that she should have taken a step back and like just maybe thought about this before saying what she did, because it's like the friend that's always like complaining about drama surrounding them, but it's like, you're obviously the one causing it kind of a thing, because there was absolutely no reason to attack the movie or Jason Reitman or to react this way or to bring Trump's name into any of it. I honestly think that she should chill out. I don't know, take a breather, get a therapist. I'm sure everyone needed to who worked on Answer the Call. I did after seeing it and being close to it. So honestly, the cast hasn't been announced from the new movie, and her vitriol is based only on assumption. And I think she needs to live in reality and calm down, because we love you, Leslie Jones. You know, we did a lot.
Yeah, I can't find the other tweet, but basically she just offered some clarification. It was just like, you know, I maybe should have rethought my words, but she's just bummed out. And listen, I think
I get that.
I get it. I get it being bummed out. I get it. But here's what I don't like. Jason Reitman puts out a statement when they announce this movie, and he flat out says, I have a ton of respect for Paul Feig's movie and those 4 amazing actresses, and I hope to see more stories from that team at some point, because there's a lot of room for a lot of different stories in the Ghostbusters universe. And her reaction is to like literally go after Jason Reitman. So like I agree, Jake. It's misguided. It's misguided.
But isn't it like but doesn't it like it's a little fucking like it's a little, I don't know if I want to call it ironic or what, but like, you know, when you got Ghostbusters 2016 came out, Answer the Call came out, and there was so much bullshit. Like there was so many fucking terrible people out there just saying like the worst things possible. And it really put like a pretty bad stigma on like the whole experience of Answer the Call. So we're a couple of years down the road. Sony says, you know what, like Jason Reitman comes up with his own idea. We're gonna make a sequel to the original because we want to, not because like this isn't happening because Sony needs to like make people forget about Answer the Call. Like whatever. That happened. It doesn't matter. They want to. Ghostbusters is like, it's a big thing. It's an important franchise. There are so many people who want to see it continue in any kind of way. And they take a step forward. They're like, hey, you know what? We're gonna make another movie, and then like a star of the movie who probably went through so much more shit than anybody else in 2016, and now she's the one fucking talking shit.
Yeah,
like shut the fuck up. Just chill out.
I've got some serious thoughts on this.
Perspective,
this stuff actually really bothered me this week, so I want to talk about it for a second.
Yeah, for
real. It's upsetting to me that, okay, there's a lot of things that are upsetting. One, it's upsetting that there's people who still feel the need to, not in a joking manner, but like to literally every single day talk about how much they hate Ghostbusters Answer the Call, like on social media. It's like, the people who don't like it talk about it way more than the people that like it, which is one of the most ironic things in the world. Yeah, we make jokes. Yeah, we poke fun, but like, it's like, whatever. Like, this isn't like coming from a vicious place. We're trying to entertain.
Yeah, it's all love. Yeah.
It's all love. So, the narrative, I always thought this, and we've probably talked about it on the podcast before. I always wondered, like, there will be some sort of backlash when they eventually move forward with a new movie without Answer the Call. There's going to be a reversed kind of backlash. Like, if last time it was like the super right-wing people, a lot of them going nuts and being racist and misogynistic, like now we have the super left-wing folks saying,
don't forget about the female,
don't forget about the women, you took a step forward, now you're taking a step back, and all this stuff. And like, I'm kind of here in the middle going, I have to, for the sake of my mental health, remove politics from Ghostbusters, and I have to go, it's okay to be a fan of a franchise. It's okay that I love Ghostbusters. It's okay that I love the original cast and would like to see them in more movies. Even if that means that the 4 actresses in Answer the Call and Paul Feig never get to make another movie, guess what? It wasn't going to fucking happen anyway. Because guess what? Well, that movie didn't make any money. That movie lost $80 fucking million.
Yeah, it's above, like, Sony it's a business. Fucking making movies is a business. You make movies to make money. And you can't, like, Ghostbusters 1 and 2 are very popular, have been for 35 fucking years.
Amen, sister.
Yep.
And Answer the Call, like, it just did, like, the facts are, it just didn't do well. Like, if it would have done better, there would be a sequel. There would be, it doesn't matter. Like, listen, the fucking worst movies in the world get sequels. Nobody cares if the movie's good or not. Fucking Aquaman exists. Like, these movies suck, but they get made because people go see them and they make a lot of money. It doesn't matter what it's about, like, nobody cares about the politics of the movies. They just don't. They worry, they're going to make what makes money.
Yeah.
Answer the Call didn't make any fucking money.
Yeah, nobody went to see it.
And I love being progressive. I love having more females and racial diversity and, LGBT characters. I love all of that. My criteria is the movie has to be good. I don't care what, like, the movie has to be good. And I think there was all these articles today saying the Ghost Bros are at it again. And, like, yeah, there's a lot of shit out there. But, like, here's the thing that nobody ever talks about. As fans, in 2016, 2017, 2018, we're smarter. We're more aware of what's going on. Ghostbusters Answer the Call was basically made behind Ivan Reitman's back. He had very little creative control or input on that movie being made. Amy Pascal, and I'm not going to pretend like I know all of the ins and outs of what went down and why it happened and who had what contracts and who had the rights and when Ghost Corps was established and all this stuff. Ivan Reitman's agenda was to make a sequel to the originals. That's what he wanted to do. It's his property. Him and Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd invented Ghostbusters. So the fact that Answer the Call was made, and if you think back, everything about that movie was done the wrong way. The way they recruited Paul Feig, the way it was announced. Yes, they used it. They did push an agenda. It's an agenda that I support. I like pro-female shit.
Yeah, I didn't dislike Patty and Abby and Jillian and whatever all their names were because they were females.
But I'm also not going to cut them.
Because they were not memorable characters.
I want to say this. I'm also not going to cut them slack. I am so sick of every single time somebody talks about Answer the Call, they're so afraid of being judged. They have to give like a pre-warning that says, now, those are 4 really talented actresses. Like, yeah, of course they're talented. They're on Saturday Night Live. But no, like, the movie wasn't that great, and it didn't make any money. So therefore, we have to move on. You just have to.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And Abby, you're a female. I'm sure you're going to say something else.
My thoughts would just stem from, I think it's Sarah Silverman who has a stand-up bit about how when girls growing up are being told by adults all around them, you're a girl, you can do anything you want. It literally is like a counterintuitive thing where it's like, well, what was their assumption that I couldn't kind of a thing? And I feel like having to always use the words funny and women synonymously with like, oh, it's a funny woman. They weren't, and it wasn't. And I'm just getting very frustrated.
You know what's going to happen? This next movie's probably going to have 4 women, and everyone's going to love it, and it's going to be really successful, and there's going to be a lot of people going, well, we don't get it. We thought you hated women. It's like, no, we just like our stories. We like our stories to exist and to continue and to not be restarted and rebooted for no reason. Trust me, if they reboot... Oh, God, Star Wars is not a good example because that fan base is falling apart too. But I'm just saying, like there's
reboot
nothing...
with homage.
I'm sick of being told that just because you like the old movies and would like to see them continue, you're just afraid to move forward. Like, what do you... No, I just like it. I just want it. Just like the new Lord of the Rings show should take place in the original Lord of the Rings universe. You don't have to remake those movies. Everybody already likes them. Oh, boy. We still have another fuck budget to go.
Yeah, do we still have another category, or are we just scrapping?
No. Last one. We're going to end on a positive note. Cool. This isn't really news, but basically, the trailer came out. Got millions and millions and millions and millions of views all over the place. And unlike Answer the Call, the social media and YouTube reaction was overwhelmingly positive. It's like 10,000 upvotes to 100 downvotes. Unlike the Answer the Call trailer, which does still hold the record as the most disliked trailer in YouTube history. Which, you know what? I'm glad I flew to California for that one. Abigail Gardner, when it comes to the positive reaction.
Salty.
And you know what? I think from here on out, maybe we'll put some of the Answer the Call stuff to bed. It is what it is. It exists. There's entertaining aspects to it. But the fact of the matter is, it didn't work.
Trying again. Try something different.
Try something new. I love Leslie Jones. I'm still on the last fuck budget. I'm just going to move on. But I disagree with the way that she handled herself. Because it ultimately made everything much harder on her. You're giving bait to the assholes. Abigail Gardner, when it comes to the positive reaction to the Ghostbusters teaser trailer, how many fucks do you give?
I'm giving, this is going to sound even saltier, I'm giving it 0 fucks. Because honestly, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I am excited about this movie for myself, for Craig, for Jake, for Yes Have Some Podcast, and because I've been wanting it. Like, go back to any episode of our podcast where we were talking about Ghostbusters, specifically FanFest. I was wanting a trailer for a live action movie. I was wanting a live action movie announcement. The fact that it's happening, I am so beyond stoked. And I am happy that other people are being supportive. But with all that we went through with Ghostbusters 2016, I honestly want to look at this movie and preserve my excitement and be able to dance and be excited within my living room like I was with Ghostbusters Answer the Call, but wiser, and I guess with the lessons I've learned from ATC. I honestly just... It's cool that other people are excited about this, but for me personally, my excitement level is so high that I just don't even want to look in any other direction or hear anything otherwise at this very moment in time.
A little bit of breaking news. This would have been in the fuck budget if it would have happened 2 hours ago. It just leaked that Funko has a new line of Ghostbusters pops coming out.
Ooh.
Egon, Peter, Ray, Peter with house.
Wait, what?
House?
Peter's coming with a house. I'm guessing a firehouse.
Okay.
Library Ghost, Slimer with hot dogs, and Winston Zedmore.
Ooh.
Wow.
So let's just say we're moving full-fledged to 2020, okay?
Okay.
Got the longest arms.
All right. First we get the khakis. All right, I'm trying. I want to be like you guys.
First we get the khaki flight suits.
There you go.
All right, first we get the khaki flight suits, then we get the Navy flight suits. All right, Jake.
I gave it 2 fucks. I think I like Abby. I like your perspective on it to where you're just like, I don't give a fuck what anybody else. And like,
yeah?
I feel like that's usually what mine would be. But it's like, it's both fun and also not fun to see how much of the community is talking about this trailer, because like you see, we have like half of the people that we're friends with on Facebook are just posting the same things over and over. And then the other half are just like, Jesus Christ, make this go away already. And that's kind of like that's a little disheartening and a little annoying to see a lot of your friends be like, Ghostbusters. And I'm like, wait, isn't this your favorite thing? Why are you being like this? So I can see where you're coming from, Abby, but also it also just like really feels good to see something Ghostbusters related and not everybody in the world hate it. I know you just said like, hey, we should get off Answer the Call, but so far we've only seen a minute of a trailer, but the reaction has been so completely opposite to any footage we ever got from Answer the Call that it just feels good again. And it feels like it makes you like, have a little like a sigh of relief. And it makes me think of like, about The Force Awakens, and it just like gives me a good feeling to be like, all right, I can breathe a little easier now to see that we're moving on and that it seems that we're moving in the right direction.
Dude, we could sit down in the theater for the new movie and they could just play that trailer and I'd probably still be like, well, I think I liked it. It was pretty good. I liked it. Like, I like what they did. It was cool because it was bigger than my computer. So that was good. And it was in 3D IMAX.
Only got to see it once, but I liked it.
Yeah, I like that, man. We're gonna keep it as. But like, here's the other thing. it's still Ghostbusters. So like when my intellectual and like when my friends who are really good at having these kinds of discussions, when we talk about Answer the Call, it's one thing. But when a big dummy starts complaining about it, I get very protective because it's still Ghostbusters.
It's family, yeah.
It's still part of it. And, you know, I do think that maybe there is room for more stories in that universe down the line, whether that's like, if they came out tomorrow and said, hey, we're having a female-focused animated series based on the Answer the Call Ghostbusters with the 4 of them doing the voices, I'd be like, that's amazing. Like, make it work.
Yeah. Like, it didn't work for Star Wars, but go ahead and try. They did try that.
They tried.
Forces of Destiny.
We have fun.
We have a good time.
I still quote that shit. Cool. Well, listen, that was fun. Probably won't be talking about Ghostbusters much from here on out. So
I think I'm spent.
Done.
No more.
Hey, I'm done with it. For Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh, thank you so much for joining us. Have some podcasts. Don't forget to tune in next week to figure out if Linda Blair and Jake have finally consummated their relationship. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Abby, anything else?
I can't wait to see that happen at Days of the Dead this weekend. I'm excited and pumped moving forward, and I'm ready to do our bonus episode.
Let's do it. If you are not on Patreon yet, get on there. It's patreon.com/yeshavesome for $5 a month. You can get in on these bonus episodes, 2 to 3 bonus episodes a month. We're about to do one right now, and I would tell you what it's about, but that's a big old secret. So head to patreon.com/yeshavesome. We really appreciate everybody's support. That $5 goes so far. You have no idea. Okay, we got to pay for the hosting.
Keeps the lights and all the detox on.
It does.
Wait, that's kind of a good... Is that a new t-shirt?
I think it is.
We'll leave the detox on for you. Like the old Motel 6.
I like that.
Jake, I love it.
I like that. And then Jake and I will argue about the different kinds of lighting, and he'll yell at me about mine, and I'll be stressed about his.
And Craig will yell at me. We turned the heating vent off in our toy room because apparently heat's bad for your toys.
It is. It is.
So we're just cold now, Jake.
I felt really bad one day because I tried to give you some like constructive advice on the way your wires were on your lighting, and I was like, is he going to yell at me if I tell him that he's got too many wires hanging out of his detox?
You were like, hey Craig, about your lighting. I'm like, fuck you, Linda Blair's awesome. She's great.
I like what she's doing now. I like her new focus.
Sweet dreams, motherfucker.
Sweet dreams.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.